very few times are we really dealing with affirmative action issues when we're working with employers. We're talking about much deeper rooted issues that make your workplace unique and hopefully get that engagement that gives you an advantage. And that's what I believe employers are saying when diversity is the center of our advantage, or it gives us a strategic advantage.
You said it great when you said that that a lot of people, to the extent they're using DE&I to make anyone in an organization uncomfortable, it's not working correctly.
Right, and when you talk about the Students for Fair Admissions versus Harvard case, one of the interesting things about that opinion, which is distinguishable from every other opinion, is that the stated goal of the university in terms of having some kind of consideration of race was for the purposes as articulated by them, being diversity, equity, and inclusion. In every other case, the goal had been to eradicate and remedy the effects of past discrimination. Yeah. And I think what the court said is, look, if you're taking race into consideration solely for the purposes of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and it's not tied to some sort of historical and admitted discrimination by your organization, that's problematic. And for me, especially as someone who trains in that space, I always talk about the conflation between DEI and affirmative action. The first thing that I always say is those are two separate things. And if you are taking affirmative action but calling it DEI, that's when you're going to have a bunch of risk. But when you are, in the way that I talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, as a culture driver, as a retention device, as a way to improve the entire organization for every single human being that works there, right? We're not having that same sort of conversation. And that existed before the executive orders from President Trump. But I think the executive orders are the manifestation of that conflation and that inability or unwillingness to be clear in what we are actually talking about within the organization.
Yeah. You said earlier that it's simple or it's not simple. I would say that what organizations should be doing actually is simple. It is simple, but it is not easy. It is simple.
I like, the name of my book is Simply Complicated.
That is exactly right. It is simple to see human beings and treat them as human beings. It is simple to get beyond fairness and respect and equity. It is simple to say we want to have an extraordinary place for our employees to work. That's simple. Culture doesn't change through policy. It doesn't change through training. It doesn't change through pronouncement. And it certainly doesn't change by forcing, coercing, shaming people if you in fact can't get the bulk of the employees to want to be able to make a change, then your culture doesn't change. You know it through the behavior of employees, not through values on the wall, not through how many DEI things you do per month or anything else. How do people here treat each other? We measure it through satisfaction, through engagement, through retention, all the things that we talked about this morning.
Those are the importance of measuring those factors and then recognizing that's who we are.
If we harden the silos of difference, and which is what DEI does right now, it separates people more. For leaders out there to start thinking about, do we want to get rid of it? No, we don't want to get rid of it. We want the best culture we can possibly have. It's a destination for me to feel that I belong.
Thanks for being an on-demand viewer of This Week at Work. Don't forget you can be part of the show by watching live at 7:30 a.m. Central every Thursday morning, when you can get your burning questions answered by using the question mark icon to the right of the player. In fact, you can ask a question now. Head over to aimea.org. Under Member Resources, you'll find This Week at Work. Click Listen Live to register for our next episode and submit a question. Or follow or subscribe wherever you get your news and entertainment. We'll see you next week when we discuss what's happening this week at work.